Okay, that you left. Everybody, welcome. We're gonna start real quick with just your name. How long you been in real estate, what you did before real estate, and we'll just go there, okay? So I'm Sherie Zebrowski. I've been in real estate 8 years. I started real estate in Austin, Texas. Before real estate was in ministry, so let's go ahead.
Okay, my name's Julia. I've been in real estate 8 months. Before that, I had my own cleaning business for 25 years.
Great.
Wow.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Valley. I've been licensed since 2016, but I've really just been doing real estate full time for like the last year.
Great.
I did condo and HOA management and prior to rental cars, a lot of things.
All right. Excellent.
Hi, I'm Alice, and I've had my license about 2.5 years, been doing real estate about 6 months. And before that, I was an IT manager.
My name is John Morales. I've been doing this for 3 months now. Retired 32 years of federal service last year.
Great.
James, come from the insurance industry, did that for 12 years, been in real estate for a month.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of new faces here.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nicole Chapman. I've been licensed for 7 years, and prior to real estate, I spent over 20 years in sales, marketing, and business development in a variety of industries, including international and domestic freight forwarding, gyms, restaurants, MLMs, you name it, I probably touched it.
Awesome.
It's Mayfair. I'm Amy in grade and been in real estate for 14 years now. Before that, I worked at the IRS for 5 years. And before that, I was a car salesman. Did every aspect of sales.
Well, you'll be great at real estate.
Dr. Barbara Searle, been in Keller Williams since December, and I'm a chiropractor in Georgia, 39 years.
Awesome.
My name is Susan Barkley and I've
You look fabulous.
been switching today.
No.
I've been in the real estate business for 4 years, but similar to Nicole, sales and marketing for the last 35 to 40 years and a host of different things, predominantly a Chamber of Commerce background. Worked for a number of chambers, board of directors, that kind of stuff, but love sales. I love people. That's my line. People.
All right. Awesome.
I'm also Susan Barkley.
Rather
She's the better version of Susan Barkley.
4 years, and prior to that, raising kids and homeschooling.
Great. And this is a new face.
Yes, hi, so I'm Ashley. I've been in real estate for like 2 years, but I've only been, really recently active, I'd say. So I've been in marketing for like 10 years. So this is kind of like, unfamiliar territory a little bit. I'm like dipping my toes in the water again. So,
Great.
yeah.
We're excited to actually transfer to us from Miami.
Yeah.
If you've been with Keller Williams in Miami.
And who are you?
I am Justin Falb, I'm your team
Yeah.
leader. But no, I've been in real estate for 10 years. I've worked for small independent companies and national franchises before. And, I truly believe that things like this are what sets us apart in our training and our system, and our culture. And I'm just very excited to share this with all of you. Scott, you wanna?
How long you been here and what you did before real estate?
I've been in real estate for 18 years. I've been with Keller Williams for 4 months. And before real estate, I was in wireless telecom for off and on for 30 years.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm really glad to be here.
Great.
We have a few Zoomers, so Chris or Unya or Jess, anybody want to share?
Hello, since like Barb, I'm with Keller Williams since December. And before that, for a couple of years, I helped my husband in his flipping business, basically.
All right.
So you're on the consumer side of it.
Right.
Awesome. Chris?
Hi, how you doing? Chris Jones. I've been with the firm and been licensed, since last September. My background, I was a business owner. I had a repair shop in Long Island. I was also a licensed building contractor in New York. looking to get moving on this.
Awesome.
Awesome. We have Justin Prince. Are you out there? Jess, there you go.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, you know I'm not great with Zoom. Hi, I'm Jen. I've been licensed since 2020, with Keller Williams since April of 2021. Before real estate, I was in publishing, marketing, and before that in social work.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have Justin Prince.
Justin Prince.
You there?
Sandwich.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm here. I'm painting, sorry. I just figured out what I said on Zoom. I started real estate basically kind of like on a whim. I kind of went into doing the classes through a Groupon. And I transitioned through supervisor roles through home improvement stores. And now I'm in real estate. Been doing it for about 6 months now, and I love it.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And I think Lexi just joined us. Are you available to talk?
Hi, I am.
Hi,
Thank you.
Lexi.
Sorry, I don't know what the question was.
Just a little bit about your background in real estate and then what you did prior to.
Prior to real estate, I was in nonprofit for about 20 years in fundraising, event planning, that sort of thing. And then moved to New Smyrna 8 years ago, got my real estate license in August of 2015, and that's what I've been doing since. I've been with Keller Williams 6 years, 6.5 years, something like that.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
Thanks, I'm jet lagged, but I'm here.
Right on. So just a little bit of housekeeping, everybody. If you have a cell phone with you, which I'm sure I hope everybody does, please just turn it on to silence or vibrate. And if you get a phone call, you've got to take, let's make your way out and step out back. It's not to interrupt. Other than that, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Right?
Okay, excellent. We're gonna do some myths and some general thoughts about open houses. So the first one we have is,
Hang tight. Let's just dive into the history.
let's do the history.
So it's interesting. What I love about this playbook is it truly kind of defines the why. And so if you think about it, the first open house was held in 1910. Times have changed a little bit since then, right? You can imagine walking into an open house in 1910 and what you see then versus what you see today. But since then, agents have hosted them all over the world and continue to host them as a way to sell the listings and meet future buyers and sellers. According to 2021 Home Buyers and Sellers Generational Sellers Report, authored by the National Association of Realtors, 53% of all home buyers sourced information about a property at an open house. Due to the low cost, hosting an open house can provide you with one of the highest returns on investment compared to all other real estate lead generation. This playbook is designed to provide you with a model on how to run the most effective open house, as well as walk you through the system step by step. Together, we're about to create a very powerful open house event that will put you in position to maximize your time and exposure.
So I moved here 5 years ago, not knowing anyone, and I did probably 3 to 5 open houses every weekend. And that's how I built my business, doing open houses. And I captured a lot of buyers and sellers doing open houses. Okay, because if a seller comes in, they're shoring up their home to their home to the one that you're at. So it's always good to find out there. Shall we go into the myths?
Yeah, let's dive in.
Okay, the first one, buyers who come to open houses are not really ready to buy. Is that true or false?
False.
Okay. Almost everyone who comes into an open house will transact.
Not true.
Some are now, others could be future business if you nurture the lead. The statistical average is 16 months.
16.
16.
16.
Because a lot of them are tire kickers. Okay, if they don't have a realtor, if they have a realtor, you know, it's a lot shorter. So that's the statistic. Go ahead.
Well, the other piece of that is that, again, I still literally to this day have people that I met 10 years ago that are opening my emails from people I met at an open house. We've had no physical face-to-face communication or meeting since then, but I see them opening what I send them whenever there's something that matches. So you just never know when that person's going to say, hey, I'm ready. But why not make sure you're the first person that gets in front of them when they do make that decision? And that's the whole key to the follow-up, which we're going to dive very deep into the whole open house piece.
Everyone just looks at houses online, so why waste your time? Why waste your time? So open houses are a waste of time. According to the National Association of Realtors, 41% of buyers reported using open houses as a source of information. And 21% of buyers reported using open houses frequently to occasionally for information during their home searches.
And we're gonna give everybody who's here today, actually the PDF of this, but these are everywhere. They are on our Facebook group page. You can download them there. But we will physically email everybody in this room this PDF today, so you can have it. And it's gonna like literally be a step-by-step on everything we're talking about. So take the notes, you know, make mental notes, but yeah, so again, it kind of talks about the fact that, you know, even if, how many people have hosted an open house and sold the house that they were hosting open? So it does happen. But does it happen regularly? No. The idea of an open house is to meet people. It's to connect with people. It's to make that relationship more real than something that's cold online, a face on a screen. You know, it's very rare in any business that you're able to meet people who are looking for a service that you have to provide and offer. And that open house is that chance to do that.
So most of the people that I've been able to connect with open houses that don't have realtors are usually 3 to 4 months, if not right away. He's got a 10-year. So that average is a little skewed because they are out there. Buyers who come to open houses already have an agent. Is that true or false?
Sometimes they do.
On average, buyers search for homes for 3 weeks before contacting an agent. And that is one question I ask. Do you have an agent?
So question you should ask.
That's the first question.
Actually, the first question is, what brings you here today? And they go, what do you mean? Are you a neighbor? Are you looking to buy a home? Are you here for somebody else? And then you know how to answer.
What's your follow-up if they say, I'm working with an agent?
I ask them who.
Share their information and we'll correspond with them and follow up or question.
All right.
Puts them on the spot.
Ready? Here's the next one.
Well, hang tight, because
Okay.
because then it also goes into a little bit further where it says that some buyers, the first step in the home buying process is attending an open house, not contacting an agent, which is your opportunity again to become their agent and earn that trust. So go ahead.
Open houses only work if you do them on the weekend.
No.
Nope, not true.
Says here, the right day and time for an open house can vary. An open house for a listing in a retirement community with a golf course may get better traffic on a weekday, 4 to 6 hours after the first tee time.
Then it will on the weekend.
And an
It's
evening
5
open house, I'm sorry?
I thought so.
Yeah. An evening open house during the week may be perfect in an area where many employers require weekend shifts. There's no one day or time that's universal for open houses. Choose what is right for your market and the specific listing.
So I've seen even 2 subdivisions side by side that have a very different sweet spot for open houses based on, you know, where the residents live, what they're doing, what their activities are. And so, you know, there is no one size fits all. And it's not always what works best for your specific schedule either. So kind of understand the traffic flow, understanding, you know, what the neighborhood looks like, what their activities are, and putting yourself in the right place where the most traffic is going to go by that front door.
So what's the reason for having an open house? Is it to sell that listing? We already said. No.
Lead generation.
It's lead gen. Okay, and a well executed prospecting and marketing for an open house will bring in buyer leads and attract neighbors who would become curious about possibly selling.
Now, I've heard that more and more recently than ever before. How many people have gotten a listing from doing an open house? There you go.
I had someone come in, this was about 3 years ago. The open house was very, very slow and it was 15 minutes to the end, and a seller came in, or a neighbor came in, and she said, well, I was curious about the home. I want to sell my home. And I said, all right, well, what are you doing now? And she said, well, don't you have to finish it? And I said, no one's here. I'll come. And we shut the door and we went over and I listed it 2 days later. Wow.
Never know, because you could have an attendee who's just kind of testing your knowledge. Because what happens a lot of times, I'll get this one. What happens a lot of times is that you host an open house on a property that's not your listing. How well do you know that listing? And that's one of the things we're going to dive into here is the importance of knowing the background, because sometimes people who are attending that open house are a neighbor who's truly interviewing you on being their listing agent. And if you don't know the house, how strong do they feel like you're going to represent their property if you list their property? They don't know if you're the listing agent or not. They just know you're hosting that open house, you're representing that property. So the whole idea, and we'll dive into how, is to know that property like it is your listing.
I was gonna say, I look at the open house as an interview for a potential seller. And so how you market that house is what they're looking at. How many signs do you have in the area? What does it look like and feel like and smell like when they come in? Do you have enough information about the home? Do you have enough information about the features? Are you comfortable? Are you gonna represent them well? So the open house from the listing perspective is 100% an interview. If you have a sign that's kind of hanging over, pointing this way, that's not really a good representation of how, somebody who bought a hire, why would I want to hire you? Have a half of a sign.
It's interesting. I actually have personalized open house signs with my picture on it, and it says open house this way, with my name, my logo, whatever. I was at an open house and this person, it was in my neighborhood and I farmed my neighborhood. One of my neighbors was like, oh, we followed your sign in, Sherie, we want to sell our home. We saw your sign and we knew you'd be here. And I'm like, sweet. So, but your face and everything, and especially where you farm, you want to put as many signs out.
And they're less likely to steal them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that being said, also is having marketing material about how you present that listing and what you've done to market that listing. To have available, even though it's not pertinent to the buyers, since we know sellers are showing up too. It's
Right.
helpful.
Right. Next one. Yes.
Do you put your personalized sign at the road?
Oh, I
You
put
put
it
that one
everywhere.
out there?
I put it everywhere.
Okay, that's.
Yep.
Just as a heads up, anybody, if you ever do an open house up in Palm Coast, they have an ordinance against street side signs.
Each neighborhood, and we'll dive into the sign piece out of the setup. Every neighborhood subdivision has their own rules and regulations. You've got to be careful.
It's like a city ordinance.
Yeah. So Palm Coast has one, Port Orange has one. Daytona Beach Shores is probably the most strict town in the area. If you're gonna do an open house anywhere in the Daytona Beach Shores area, our company purchased a license. It costs us $100 a year to have the license. That way, any agent that's attached to Keller Williams Realty Florida Partners can go buy the Daytona Beach Shores sealed open house signs, because their open house signs has to have this Shores seal on it. It's numbered and they're assigned to you. I believe they charge $26 a piece, but you can use, those are the only open house signs you can place in Daytona Beach Shores.
Anecdotally, what I found up there is you place signs out in the neighborhood, right? They don't get messed with. You place it out on the main road, it's gone.
Right.
You typically, it's where you put it in the median, but if you put it on the corners, you're okay. But every place is.
Right.
And we'll talk about sign places, because the other opportunity you have when you're placing those open house signs are to talk to neighbors and talk to people who live at those cross streets and make that introduction, knock on the door. Hey, I'm hosting an open house down the street. Stop by if you want. Would you mind if I place an open house sign in your yard that's directing people away or towards the
We'll
open
talk
house?
about that because there is follow-up from that as well. Okay, open houses only attract curiosity seekers and neighbors.
Well,
Open houses attract several groups of people. First-time buyers who's trying to figure out what they are looking for in a home and or neighborhood. Other agents who want to see if a home meets the criteria for curious clients. Neighbors who could become future listings when they see the possibility of selling their home at a similar price to the open house listing. And looky-loos, many feel like are a waste of time, but remember, most curiosity seekers eventually transact real estate with some agent, and that agent could be you. That agent could be.
We just had an open house last week and then the neighbor came in and said, basically, you guys get this one, so we're interested in this.
nice. All right, I'm only doing lead generation on weekends if I spend my time hosting open houses. False. A successful prospecting and marketing strategy for an open house begins well before the weekend. And if done right, the lead generation's for your business generally, not just during that specific listing. So you have your marketing at the beginning, your follow-up at the end. So it's not just that activity on the weekend, it allows you to do multiple activities throughout the
I
day.
mean, even if you feel like you're just doing lead gen open house, is that a bad thing?
Right.
I mean,
Great,
Do y'all know what a broker's open house is?
for other agents to come look.
It's, you open it up to other agents. So that, because our job is to get other agents in to look at the home. Because I might have 4 or 5 buyers, but every other agent's gonna have 4 or 5 buyers. So we want to try to get those other agents in. So good, now you know what a broker's open house. I don't need to do an open house if I do a broker's open. Or I don't need to do a broker open if I do a regular open. False.
And the very different marketing that you would have for each one of those. I mean, obviously, if broker's open, you're going to your peers. And what I'll tell you is this, it's always nice to get that beautiful high-end listing and say, look at what I got. Come by and stop by my broker's open. But if you're inviting agents that have listings like that you've never reciprocated and gone to one of their brokers opens, do you think they're going to come to yours? And that's the biggest thing I say is that if you expect people to attend your broker's open, when's the last broker's open you attended? Because that's the biggest thing that always comes up. And, you know, you could send invites, you could do gift cards, you could do hors d'oeuvres, you could do wine and caviar, you could do whatever you want. But if you don't go to their stuff, a lot of times they're not going to take the time to go to yours. And I found that handwritten invitations and actually dropping them off at the other brokerages offices, inviting them and anybody from their office to attend helps. Especially if it's a listing that's a demographic or in a price point that is similar to some of the listings that they have that they maybe want. So
The reality is, if you hold a broker open before your public open house, it helps limit the number of agents attending your public open house. So you can focus on attention during the public open house on potential buyers, while also getting the word out about your listing to agents who have clients that are actively looking.
awesome. All right. So those are the breaking down the myth understandings. Anybody else have any other kind of holdbacks of why you don't do open houses or just feel like they're a waste of time? Or now obviously we all have our own ideas on how open houses work. I can share with you probably the one most uncomfortable situation I ever had in an open house was I was hosting an open house in a neighborhood where a lot of realtors live. And from the time that I started the open house till about an hour and a half into the open house, I had 2 agents set up and just camp in my open house. And they said, we live here, this is our neighborhood, and we're actually trying to siphon off attendees of an open house.
oh my God.
So
How
I
rude.
did contact the broker. I did talk to the broker about their agent's behavior, and it never happened again. But just be cognizant of that type of things. You'll have agents show up and say, oh, I'm waiting for my buyers. I just called them. I think this is a great house from, and they'll meander around the house. And heaven forbid, if you have 3 or 4 people come in and you can't attend to every one of those people.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye because they may be trying to siphon off some of your part.
I have had an agent who pretty much commandeered the buyer, and I ended up calling the broker.
Some of them are pretty obnoxious coming through.
At that point in time, like if another agent comes in and straight says that to you, can you ask them to leave and say, hey, you're trespassing?
You
You're not welcome
can
here.
ask them to leave. You are holding a public open house, so it's.
But I mean, they're telling you they're doing something unethical. I mean,
I've thrown people out of my
I'm with
house
you.
before,
I'm with
that
you.
were just regular.
I throw people out of my opening doors and stuff,
Right.
you know, I've never had that.
It's, you know, it's the proof, it's watch the behavior, and if they start to misbehave, then absolutely kick them out. But, you know, a lot of times you do have a savvy agent that's trying to do that, will say, I just call my buyers, I'm meeting them here, and then you can say, hey, well, why don't you wait out front for your buyers to come in?
But then they can intercept people.
So
pulling-
let's dive into here, because this is ethical issues,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, and that was my question. He said, is that it's unethical, is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, there's very specific articles and standards in our code of ethics that go very deep into things. The only unethical thing is that you're interfering with somebody who's in exclusive agreement with another customer. So the only unethical thing there is if me and that seller have an exclusive listing agreement signed, if that agent tries to start talking to that seller about what they would do better than me as far as advertising and listing, but poaching a buyer, that's anybody's game. So it's skirting a line. So just gotta be careful with that. It's rude.
I would never do that to another agent.
And usually when it comes to ethics,
It's rude.
it's kind of practicing the golden rule. How would it feel if somebody else did it to you? Go take a hike, you know.
It's very rare. You get one or two people that.
But sometimes you get, like, again, Barb, I'm sure you deal with it in the condo you're in. I mean, that is a very contested building where there's a lot of realtors who live there. There's property managers who live on site. So,
Well,
yeah.
Jamie sold that property, but I had no problem. I
there's other
was
things
in
like-
heaven doing open houses.
And you hear about subdivisions like a Venetian Bay and you see the videos going on of people stealing each other's, like, that just crazy stuff happens. Try to be above that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go into the steps of the open house. There are 5 steps. Number 1 is you're gonna pick the right home, and we're gonna dive into
Yeah,
each of
each
them.
one of these, we're gonna hit
Okay.
each bullet point.
Number 2 is you're gonna create marketing materials. Number 3, you're gonna market the open house. You're gonna get ready to host, and then you're gonna follow up. So those are the 5 steps. So we're gonna dive into each one of them. You ready? Let's
So
go.
first step is pick the right house. So although any listing can be held open, choosing a property that puts you in the best position to meet the most motivated buyers is a great first step. Below are some of the filters that you can use to put yourself in the right place at the right time more often. So first and foremost, hold open your own listings. Obviously, again, many sellers love the idea of having an open house. There's no one better to speak about the home to a prospective buyer than the listing agent. This will help you best position the property as you will be the first to receive feedback. This will also be an opportunity to meet prospective buyers that can become future clients and hopefully sell your listing. If you don't have your own listing, reach out to agents in your own market center about hosting an open house at one of their listings. And that's kind of where we talked about, if you're going to do that, you know, talk to that agent. Try to actually set up a time where you can go to the property before the open house event, do a walkthrough video of the open house or of the house you're hosting, ask questions, get the seller's disclosure if they have one. If it's in an HOA, get the HOA rider. If it's in a condo, get the condo rider. Just have knowledge of not just the property, but of the community and the building it sits in if you're dealing with one of those other types of properties. Questions about that one? All right.
The next one is new to market homes.
Yes.
The first 2 weeks are really important. This says, look for properties that are 14 days. They have their highest traffic during that time. I have criteria. I'm not going to read it word for word, but it's pretty much standard. Or a home that hasn't had an open house yet, or have had only 1 or 2. Okay, they've had many. I don't. My criterias are new to market, only 1 previous open house, a certain price range. If you cater to a certain price range, if you're a first-time home buyer, you're going to be at the lower level. If you want to increase your price point, you go to higher level, or possibly anyone in your farm area. Oh, I didn't have any in my farm area for a long time, so I really hounded any agent that had homes in my neighborhood. And I put my signs up everywhere I market it, because I want to be the girl. There's a lot of agents there. And then the last criteria I have is so many intersections.
Yeah.
No more than 5, although if you want your sign out everywhere, you get as many as you want, and you don't care. Okay.
I do want to thank Nicole for a moment to allow me to use all of her signs. So every open house sign as you found your way back here does belong to Nicole and her team. And so, you know, we'll get into the marketing your listing, but you know, they say, you know, if you have 20 signs, it's probably a good number to just have an inventory, because you just never know how many turns and bends and weaves they're gonna
We
have.
have 40, by the way.
You have 40. Nice.
I get mine on Amazon. I get 10 of them for like 70 something. It's very.
So mine
As
are
opposed to
personalized. Mine are personalized with my face.
It's
Right. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, it doesn't matter, I don't have anything to say.
So
$70, 10 signs.
No, I'm saying, so, but if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, it costs a fortune for every single, because when I first went into this business with another agency, you know. They didn't even get clueless. Oh,
Right, if you want a generic sign, absolutely, go find them online, you can get them super cheap, Amazon. But if you want to be, you know, name recognition is a big deal.
You get the little ones that are shaped like a house.
Yeah.
So how much were your signs?
I don't remember.
They're expensive. They,
Try to do it.
I bought 2 signs and 2 metal things, and I think it was like 200.
But
So-
that's
no,
just
no,
for
mine-
sticking in the ground when you have a
No,
house.
you guys, I use super cheap signs. It's an online thing. I
Super
got like,
cheap sign,
I got like 40 or 20 of them
for how much?
for like, I think $280, and it was both sides and it was color.
It's super cheap.
Super cheap signs.
I think that would cheap signs are. They're usually like corrugated plastic, like the stuff that we have out there.
All right,
Jamie, you got it?
I got 5 signs shaped as an arrow with both sides, with our graphics on both sides, our phone number, our picture, all that for $136.
But that's only 5 signs to have.
That's
Is that all you put out?
No, I have a total of 10 at the moment,
Okay.
but I got them in batches of 5.
So,
Usually bulk is, in bulk, you're gonna get a discount.
so I've heard it, I won't say argued, but I've heard 2 sides of the story of having them branded and why not to have them branded. Because you could have someone who has a negative association with Keller Williams, or maybe they've worked with, sure, I don't think this would have ever happened to you though, so let's just put that out there. Maybe they had an experience and like, nope, we don't wanna, that's not the direction we wanna go in. So I've heard it, not argued, but like I said, presented as be generic, that's why ours are generic, and they do get stolen a lot or picked up by code enforcement, so, you know, you gotta consider all of that.
Right,
And
so,
sometimes a nice mix.
right, so I use on the main roads, I use a generic, but as soon as I go into the neighborhood, I'm using my personal, because of
The main roads are where you're getting.
And everybody in this room is at a different level of their business. So
Right.
somebody who's just getting started, don't go spend $300 on signs, please don't.
No, they're especially in double
For the
sided.
branded stuff to get started, it's.
The generic sign.
It took me 3 years to get branded.
There's no right or wrong. The
Yeah.
generic sign.
Well, we do label them, but yeah.
But a good idea, Barb, is like as you're building your business, out of every transaction that closes, reassigning a certain
Okay.
percentage into your business.
Talk about that.
Not yet, no, this is, not yet.
You say, I mean, taking money from your sale, but if you haven't sold anything in 4 months,
Yeah.
where's the money coming from?
You know what
That's all right.
Hopefully the reserves. We'll
You know
dive
what
in.
I did, like some of these subdivisions that have multiple open houses, I have the one branded sign and then the generic signs I wrote, look for Julie Silvera sign.
Right.
And I just put that down.
Yep.
And this way.
Even
you
the
got
untrained
the
ones,
seal.
almost there, 3 to go.
Yeah.
Change it up, have fun with it.
Yeah, okay, the other way to pick a home is in a low inventory
We have
neighborhood.
plenty of those these days.
Yes, okay.
Not as low as it was a
Yeah,
year ago, but
yeah.
it's still low.
you
low
couldn't even
inventory.
do an open house a year ago.
So I have a question.
Yeah,
So how are you finding, I guess this is like in Flex MLS, a record of all of the open houses that would be in there for each property?
so hopefully I'll have time to show you how to find open houses.
Okay,
And then under each property
Yeah.
listing, you can
Yeah.
actually look at their history and you can see
Yeah.
how many open
Right.
houses they've had throughout the history of the listing.
Right.
Price changes, all that stuff. All right. Mid-range priced homes. So mid-range priced homes have the most people look at them, so they are affordable to most. They are often more desirable. You can use the MLS again to identify and search for the average price homes. What do you think the average price of a home here in Volusia County is right now?
360.
Between 5,
yeah.
330.
335.
So low to mid threes is where the idea
I
is.
think it's like 280 to 300 right now, like what they're selling for, not what they're listed for.
The
Different,
median,
it's very different.
yeah.
No,
so
it's higher than.
The median for Daytona Beach and the
Yeah.
Daytona Beach, I'm talking about our MLS, so that's like mostly
Yeah.
Daytona, Ormond, Port Orange was 434 is the
434.
median price.
Wow.
I would say between 330 and 350, very median, like, and that's from Port Orange to Ormond. Like, cause you can't, it's hard to find anything under 330 in Port Orange.
Yeah. No, it is.
So the reason why he was saying this is, some people love doing those $1 million homes. And if you want to be a luxury agent, sure, do that. But you're not gonna get as many people looking as you would that priced home. So that's why they were saying that. Choose the best day and time. Best practices for open houses, Monday through Friday or 5 to 7. This allows you to catch people from work, or if you have a school nearby, do it when, the family's picking up the kids and they're leaving to go from school, picking up the kids, something to think about. Saturdays 11 to 1 or 2 to 4. Now, I will tell you, someone did an open house the other day for me, 3 to 5 on a Sunday. And this was like the 4th time that this home was held open. She had 8 people through.
We've had great success in that later on.
I was shocked, and she asked the people, she said, well, what brings you here? And she said that most of them said, well, we had time to come. There were so many other open houses, we went to them, knowing we can come years later.
That's
So
what we
something
do.
to think about.
And sometimes if you're in a neighborhood where there's a few other homes that are for sale, partnering up with some of the other agents and doing like a neighborhood open house exclusive type thing where, if you give them a passport and they attend each different open house, they get a chance at some sort of grand prize drawing. And it could be, brokerage exclusive, or you could, reach out to other listing agents in the same neighborhood and say, hey, I want to do one on, and it does take planning. So obviously you can't say, oh, this Saturday, you want to get everybody in line. But if you're able to do something like that together and then do a co-brand advertisement, so each agent, again, across brokerages is now sharing each other's listings as an opportunity to attend each one. I've seen that happen a lot of times in like Chelsea Place and some of the other subdivisions where there's like 4 or 5 models and you want to have a nice selection of each. So
I've
So-
actually attended one of those before and it was fun.
It's
you
fun,
know?
it is
Yeah.
fun, yeah.
you go to one place, you get wine, you go to one place, you get some cheese, you go to one place, you get some cookies.
Ask people who have done open houses, I believe in 2 hours. Because I've done 2 hours, I've done 3 hours, I've done 4 hours, and what I find is the 3 to 4 hours, I'm busy in the beginning, I'm busy at the end, and nothing really in between. And when I shrunk it to 2 hours, it seemed to have pretty stable. Anybody else have,
3 hours.
I like 3 hours.
why?
Because it's a long to 2 hours is like, all right, I'm gonna get in and get out. 3 hours is you're gonna sit down, you're gonna relax, you have people coming in. I did not have like a staggered flow or like pure before and after. I think your mindset brings, all right, I'm gonna be busy, I'm gonna close it up. I'm just open.
I like to.
We had 15 sets of people come in on the 3-hour set on a third open house.
Wow.
So this house was been on the market for 2 weeks. But the signs, I know we talked about this already. I put up 14 signs and I hit both, obviously in the neighborhood, but both main entrances, yeah. So, and then a lot of people, like you were talking about, they came from other open houses that were in the neighborhood. They said, yeah, we saw both your signs. And then we just came from the other listing.
Julie and Scott, you guys said 2. What's
I
your
like
feelings
2,
on that?
and I've always done 2, and it's perfect. It's a good flow, it keeps going, and I get a lot of people.
Same reason, my time's valuable and I hate like anything looking at the clock. So, it seems to me that if I advertise it well enough in advance and far enough reach, that people that want to see it are gonna be there in that 2-hour window and I don't need to be there any longer, but I see the other perspective.
Yeah.
If the open house is dead,
Yeah.
I only have to play with the seller's cat for 2 hours instead of.
And I like to bake cookies, kind of, it's that good smell going.
I do all that, but 2 hours because like if you're doing a Saturday and you're working with buyers as well, 2-hour limit is perfect because you can schedule other showings around it as well. That's what I feel, and I don't do more than 2 per weekend. Usually 11 to 1 or 1 to 3. That's usually my typical times.
Now, in bold at the bottom of that says you will want to have your ideal listing picked by Monday or Tuesday. The idea about everything when it comes to having a successful open house versus a non-successful open house is planning, preparation, marketing. And that's what we're going to dive into next. All right, creating marketing materials. Now, I learned so much on this part.
So I have to tell you, both of us, we don't usually use command for marketing. Him, obviously, because he doesn't need to. Me, I have an assistant that does it all. So I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to be teaching this. But I'll tell you what, once we did it, I was like, wow, this is so cool. So we're really excited to share this with you and do it with you if you have your computer. So go ahead.
All right. So, so there are 2 purposes to flyers. The first is to use them when inviting people to your open house, and the second is to have them at the open house so people can take them with them. Every flyer should contain the following information: photos of the home, key details of the home and neighborhood, your contact information, your preferred lender's contact information, and a call to action.
Can you repeat those five or?
Sure.
I'm gonna
Photos,
Send it to you.
key details of the home and neighborhood, your contact information, your preferred lender's contact information, and a call to action. Now, a call to action could be something like, ask me about my price reduction list. That's interesting. Ask me about below market financing, or get the value of my current home. These entice attendees to keep in conversation with you. Have your preferred lender's contact information on your flyer allows you to use it when talking to a potential buyer that isn't pre-approved yet. You're immediately showing value, and the buyer is more likely to keep the flyer that also has your contact information.
It also, you're not mentioning Keller Williams should be on that flyer as well.
Has to be,
Has to be.
has to be.
I know, but it's not on there.
So you guys, when I have people, do you want me to show this or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
That's gonna be posted in the open house, I
Okay.
believe. So I'm gonna take you into something that I learned yesterday. Now, part of this packet that everyone's gonna get at the end of it has actually this thing called the playbook. And the playbook is actually number 15, which is create marketing material. And so there is a step-by-step guide on how to go into command and create marketing material. I'm just gonna take you through that really quick because this blew me away. All right.
So easy.
So I'm gonna minimize this. I'm hoping, hey, guys on Zoom, please tell me if you're not following my screen. I'm hoping that you're gonna see command in just a minute here.
Yes, I do.
We can see it.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it.
You can probably do that if you want to. Okay, so what we're gonna do in creating a flyer is we're gonna actually go into command. So I'm logged into command. Hopefully this looks familiar to everybody. And then and if you don't see, like if you only see it this way, you know, if you click on the little red box, it opens everything up so you can see what it is. You're gonna scroll down to designs. Now, designs in the past have been a very clunky, hard to create situation. Some people have used them well, some people just don't like it and they use Canva instead, and that's fine. But what we want to show you is that the designs have changed. And so when we go into create designs, I've got to minimize this piece though. Get that down. There we go. So once I click on the designs applet, which is this one click right here on designs, I'm going to go in the upper right-hand corner and hit create design. If you've created a design in something else already, you can import it, but I'm going to go to create design. And this is the coolest piece I want to show you. Because we're creating a flyer, we're going to go to print and continue. It's going to take me into a new, now this is actually taking us into the design center. Now, hopefully a lot of people have seen this before. Am I going too fast?
And you guys, when you get this packet, it tells you step by, this is how we learned it yesterday.
So the designs, when you first come to designs, is everything you've made so far. Now, the newest thing that I want to share with everybody is this one little section here that's called auto create. When you click on auto create, there's several different things. There's coming soon, for sale, just listed, open house, and just sold. We're focusing on the open house. So I'm going to click on the open house piece. And in the upper right-hand corner, I'm going to hit this auto create button. Okay, so I've selected open house from the auto create dropdown. And in the upper right-hand corner, I'm clicking auto create. Now, auto populate templates with your own content. So here's what we're going to do. We are doing open house. Well, no, I don't do that. We're going to listing search. Who has a listing right now? Give me an address. Preferably a home.
10 Lakeside Place South.
10 Lakeside Place
South.
Question, if it's not your listing, are you still able to
Yep.
do this?
Yep. Lakeside, 10 Lakeside Place South. Is it
Flagler?
Flagler?
Yes.
Okay,
So I'm going to select this listing. I've selected it now. And at the very bottom of the screen, when I don't have this in the way, I'm going to hit continue. And it's going to ask you for two different pieces of information. When is your open house? What date?
This Saturday from 1 to 4.
Saturday, what is Saturday's date? 4 to 8? And it's from 1 to 4 p.m.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to hit continue. Now, because I selected this listing, it already has the price, the address, the agent phone number, the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the property year built, the square footage. You can put in things here, home details, things like pool home, fenced yard, no HOA, ocean views, whatever you think are gonna be your details that are gonna grab attention. But here's the coolest part, add your images. So right here, I'm gonna hit plus. It takes me in and here's all the MLS pictures already in here that I just select which ones I want to use. Yeah, right? This, I got this, I'm like, what the heck is that? Like, so if I want to pick the headline grabbing ones, the first one's the property image, maybe I grab this one for that first picture. Property image number one, maybe we grab a nice picture of the kitchen.
Kitchen's fantastic. Living
This one.
Whatever.
The one with the lights, the three is the best
Right
one.
here.
This one on the left,
Yeah, that one
yeah, it's
right there.
beautiful.
All right. And then property image number three, if it had like a beautiful backyard or some nice amenities.
Well, they said the bedroom is also, the master bedroom counts as
I like
much
the
as the
lanai.
kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah, the one I saw.
Let's just say the lanai for now. Let's just grab those three. You could use whichever ones you want.
Pool, let's do the pool.
Oh, there's a pool on that one, right?
No pool,
All right.
no pool.
So I'm just gonna hit,
Backyard,
Let's not do
acre.
the pool.
and again, you can click in other information there. I'm just gonna hit continue just for ease of purposes. It's gonna have your name, your email, and again, you'll want to create these. This is gonna pull from whatever you have in there for your profile, so just make sure this is all correct. But it already has the pictures, so generate designs. And just like that, guys, it's done. It's gonna spit out a couple different things I could download. And so which one do we want? It gives us all these different choices. Do we want door hangers to pass out? Do we want flyers? And like, which one do you want to use? So let's just say we love this one, this first one. I just click on this. All right, click on this. So I could download this, I can edit it, I could duplicate it, but just download it. And you can download it as a standard, or you could do it as a JPEG image, PNG high quality. So it really gives you every option that you can have. And then whatever pages, if it's multiple pages, and then just hit download, and it will put it onto my computer as a PDF file.
Wow.
So
5 minutes.
flyers, there's some examples of those there. Questions?
This is beautiful.
It really is one of those things where it was a game changer when I saw that. So when I click on the PDF, here's the PDF. And it's gonna load up what I put in there. So open house, date, time, address, main house, bedrooms, bathrooms.
And do you see that blank space over there to the right? I believe that's where they have those extra things, pool home.
Yes,
large-
yeah, those are the, yeah.
Da-da. So it really behooves you to go ahead and do that.
All right, so good.
Yep.
Okay. So we're beyond the flyer section now. We're skating right along.
Just an FYI too, people that are comfortable with Canva, there's a ton of real estate templates too, so.
Right, we're trying to do Canva, trying to take over Canva, especially if you pay for it. We're hoping, I mean, they've come a long
They've got
way.
some great templates
Yeah,
for those
Canva's
that are
awesome.
comfortable with Canva
Yeah.
over Command.
Would you mind flipping on the light behind you?
You got it. Yeah, Canva's excellent. Yep.
Really? Okay. No, you got it. All right. So we got our flyers done. This is the cool part now. And I want to share with you this. Now, registration sheets, right? So the whole idea is that when people attend your open house, you want to be able to capture their information. And the old school way of doing an open house is a registration sheet where you have your sheet up there and it has the sign in and give me your name and your phone number and your email. And half the time you can read it. Half the time it has some vulgarity about what you can do with your time. You just never know what you're gonna get. You get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the phone number and the, don'tbotherme.com for your, you just, yeah, people. So the times of doing the handwritten registration sheets kind of come and gone. So there's a couple ways that we recommend you do it. And so up here, you have your paper registration sheet, or you have a digital landing page. Now, the digital landing page, there's a trick to that because you need to figure out some way that you want to get somebody to that page. So what I use 2 examples of agents who created digital landing pages for their open houses and then had this set at the front door to scan this to sign in. So I'm going to pass these out. Feel free to take your camera out, scan that picture and see what pops up on it. Oh, not that one. Sorry.
We'll come back around. I figure we just start on the right side. Oh, okay.
So what we found with when you scan that, you can do different things. And truly, I want to just show you how easy it is to create a landing page. Again, I do not want to turn this into a tech training. This could absolutely be Sarah teaching this. But this is so easy that even an idiot like myself
Do
can do
you
it.
think that this kind of tactic is gonna work with an older demographic? Because that's my only concern, is that you're then teaching somebody what a QR code is, how to use it.
It's not a bad idea, I still have both, like.
Well, yeah.
have the
Well,
paper
So the
side.
idea is that this landing page that you're going to send them to is going to have a link for them to download your app. The whole idea is to get them using your stuff and not out there on the Zillows and the Realtor.coms and the different places that someone else is going to capture them. So if they're looking anywhere, your hope is that they're going to get tied to you and your technology. I hope.
We hope so. I will share with you what I have been using. I'm gonna probably go to digital. I have my bio on top. And then I have their, and I tell them, hey, one of the reasons why we do this is we need really good feedback about this home from people that come through. So please give me your honest feedback. And then, you know, if they're not working with the realtor, I always ask them, do you mind if I follow up with you? This home isn't for you, but you know what? There's another 3-bedroom around the corner. I'd love to send it to you. Oh, yeah, sure. I always ask permission. As soon as they leave, or I have it perforated, I didn't bring it. I give them this top.
Yes.
And then on the back, I say blah, 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 blah. So I know how to follow up with them. So I always have notes on the back of these. But I'm hoping this digital can do it. Yes.
Abe, well, I had Abe and Nicole. I'm sorry, I'm trying to stay in order.
I just want to share a personal experience. My very first open house, I was shadowing another agent. We had a sign-in sheet, a physical sign-in sheet. I like this a lot, don't get me wrong. We heard the people upstairs going through drawers, dresser drawers. So we kicked them out, right? Seller said everything's missing. We called the police. We showed them, hey, this is what they signed in as. Guess what? They used their real name and contact information. Yeah.
Wow.
So if I'm standing there watching them, whether they put their real name or not, they're gonna put something down, right? This way, they may not do anything, but sometimes criminals are stupid.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah, good story. Nicole.
In regards to also being able to help capture their information, I found it very useful by saying, would you like to know if we have any changes of status on this property, like a price reduction? And they're usually, yes, I want to know about that.
Yeah.
So, that I found really useful, being able to get.
Great script, great verb.
Hey, if you give me your email, I'll be sure to keep you up on what's going on with this house. I'll let you know if there are any price reductions when it goes under contract, what it actually sold for. And they usually are really excited to find that stuff out, so they usually give it up.
That's a good, that's a
Because I
good.
think people shop above their price range,
Yeah,
not
right,
below.
exactly.
So they're like, yeah, let me know if it goes down.
So again, the idea of these flyers are they're gonna be sitting in the home already. And so actually your situation, if it's somebody who's not tech savvy, maybe you have a couple copies of these and you can actually give them one to take with them.
Yeah.
And it still has your contact information on it too.
I am old school. I love them signing in. Mine where I can do the follow-up, you know. The minute they sign in and they're walking around, I start putting them in my contacts, and by the time they leave the door, I've sent my app to them. So it's just, I think it's whatever you're comfortable.
Have you ever said, oh, here, let me send you my website or whatever?
Yeah.
And go to the number and go ahead and do it.
It's
And
never,
then you find out if it's right or not.
Right.
And they're like, oh, it's right.
Let me send you my app.
Yes.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
We have forewarned.
Yeah.
Forewarn it and see if it's right, find out if they're a criminal right then and there.
So it would be Sarah that would get with to like create the landing page.
I'm gonna show you right now, actually. I'll show you how easy. So the pages that this just took you to.
Yeah.
Here we go. So you guys can see the screen up here. You don't need to hit the lights. I don't. Can you see this all right, or?
Yeah.
You sure? Okay. So what you do, and again, I did this once before, so this is my second time ever doing this, but
okay, let's watch.
so at the bottom, you hit consumer.
Okay.
And again, there is a step-by-step in this playbook everyone's gonna get, so you can write, but you don't have to.
Real
So,
quick,
yes,
So when I start hitting on things in design, it takes me to like the KW design, but how do I get back to like actually command?
keep hitting the back arrow. Yeah, you gotta kind of navigate out of it.
All right, got it.
So in the upper right-hand corner, there is a thing called create new page. Now, what's going on right here is when I click on the bottom here, consumer, this is everything having to do with my website. So anything you want to edit on your website is in this piece right here. It is a customizable website. You can add as many landing pages as you want. We have some agents who have gone nuts. They've created landing pages for every community in the city. So they'll have a landing page for Ormond. And then inside the landing page for Ormond, they'll have breakaway trails and the trails and this and this and this. And each one of those landing pages have YouTube videos that have unique content that drives traffic to it. Then they'll put the URL code for that landing page out there on Facebook. Want to know more about breakaway trails? Click here. And the more traffic you drive to these landing pages, the more they start gaining organic traffic. When people Google breakaway trails Ormond Beach, all of a sudden, my website starts popping to the top with the Zillows and the other ones out there. That's all website traffic. What we're talking about is creating just a simple landing page. So
For signing in.
signing in.
Keep it simple.
So keep it simple. So clicking on consumer, these are all things having to do with your website. This is something where if you want to do stuff like what I just talked about, schedule one-on-one with Sarah. She will walk you through a step-by-step. But all we're doing is we're creating new page. Do you want to create a page on your site? So that'd be, again, creating a sub page, or do you want to create a landing page? We are creating a landing page for lead generation. We're going to click create page. It's going to kick me into this blank thing. And all you need to do is drag in your agent branding across the top, drag in your lead form next, and then maybe drag in the listing next after that. If that worked, that worked.
You can use templates like this, you know.
You could even put in something else here in the bottom underneath all that stuff about, you know, maybe you do a, where's the part about my app? Download my app. Drag that in down here.
When I brought in the listing, it brought in 300 total.
Yeah, don't worry about that. We'll get there in a second. So
We'll show you.
So download my apps at the bottom now. So this stuff is all built in here now. And then if I click on,
I think it's at the very bottom. You gotta move those folks.
oh, configure widget. So when I click on the about property, I go to configure widget.
And it
It's
was.
hard to do. It's on Zoom. Browse listings. And I'm gonna do the same thing I do right here. What was the address? 10 what?
10 place,
About property.
Yeah.
And then what'd you do?
Socialism.
Flagler.
Check this out.
You have to hit apply, I believe.
Yeah, it's down here at the bottom. So once I hit that apply, now all of a sudden, everything in here about that listing is going to switch to that listing, Lakeside Place, square footage, the about from the MLS, every photo that's in there. The map. Like, and that's it. And all I do is hit publish page and it is live. And then Sarah, Nicole, somebody who's a little more tech savvy than me can show you how to create a QR code. All you're doing is creating a QR code to this landing page, and that's what goes here. And anybody who scans that now lands on this page here. So I mean, there's a little bit more to it. I mean, you can get hung up on a little bit, but it's that easy. It's not crazy hard, right? Or is it?
It's not.
No, I just did it.
There you go.
There you go.
Then you can take it one step further. And you can use social media marketing for a small.
Right, right.
Yeah. So nothing overwhelming, right? That is our either have a registration sheet, have them sign in manually, and or do a digital registration landing page, and that way you're getting people to push straight into there. You can share that URL out there on Facebook and say, hey, I'm hosting an event, check it out here. They can sign in there, ask more questions, you know, sign up for a price reduction list or a price reduction update, you know, things like that are going to have people get their attention for sure.
So generally, like when we created that flyer with the QR code, would we generally only create like a couple of those, or do we also give those out with like the other flyers on the property?
You can give them out. I mean, truly, you can give these out. Like
Or
other
you
flyers
can just
on top
add
of it.
that on the.
Yeah, you
flyer
can add that on the other flyer. Absolutely.
Add it to it like as a
image or something, right?
I'm curious to ask Sherry, not that I don't value your opinion, Justin, but it's out there every day. How do you handle people who do not want to sign in? Do you require it?
I would. I try to stress to them, but especially when COVID was around, I said to them, because of COVID regulations and stuff going on right now, we need to know who's been here. And if there's anything, we will contact you. So I've been able to do that, but I've had people to say, nope, not signing in.
And it's really up to your seller. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I have not. I ask them, are you working with a realtor? And a lot of times they'll say yes or no or whatever. But if they don't want to sign in, I don't know. It's a really tricky
Can I just say
situation.
something to that?
Yeah.
Susan actually came out with this. She's had some great results. It's that seller has asked that everybody who comes into their house to please register. and sign.
You would want
And
somebody.
we've not
to your
had,
house.
we have not had one negative to that.
Until I say that.
And I was asking because, you know, I don't do open houses very often anymore, but I'm helping train people, right? And like me personally, I take that approach. This is a private residence.
Yeah.
This is a requirement to be here. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. Then we can make a private showing another time.
Oh, I like that.
Or if you haven't, or if they're like, well, I have an agent, that's okay. I just need to know their name. I will follow up with them, not you, but I need to know who you are and your agent's name. But if they get belligerent, like I've asked people, I said, well, this is not, I cannot have you here right now. I'm so sorry. Please make an appointment with another agent to come do a showing.
I have said that as well. But
No, it's
I
perfect.
like
I think
what
the
you
best
said.
thing is that
Yeah.
we're opening up a private residence for you to come
Right.
through. The seller is required, has requested that anybody who attend this to sign it.
Again, guys, I've literally had criminals come in
Yes.
planning to commit a crime and they still signed it.
And open houses have been a way that people have used to case properties to see what's valuable. I mean, so no, there is validity to that 100%. So.
Yeah.
So again, they give us a little script to use here. So it's advised to obtain consent from each attendee to contact them, again, using the language as such. So I would like Justin Falb, Daytona Beach, to contact me about property listings, real estate offers and services, a telephone number and email address I provided. You know, make it personal to you. You don't want to sound like a robot. You want them to sign in so we can keep you updated on the property or other similar properties in the neighborhood. You know, what Sherry's got up there, she has some other comps and we'll go over that in a second, but it's nice to show that I want to help you outside of just this home. Because the public does not understand that you may not be the listing agent of that property and your whole goal is to connect with other buyers that are out there. And I'm not going to push this house on you. Tell me what you're looking for and I'll show you all those. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the next part about, again, what Sherry was mentioning is the scorecard. So being able to give your seller feedback on what consumers thought as they walk through home is so valuable for your seller. So scorecards are fun and they're a unique way to engage guests at an open house. I love what Sherry has, where she has the tear off, where the top half is the information for the customer to keep, and the bottom half has the feedback as well as their contact information. It's a great.
You know what's really crazy, you guys? I always thought people would just throw this away. I had someone contact me from doing an open house almost a year and a half ago. And they said, we kept you gave us this top of the, your bio and we're ready to sell. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that they kept it. I think what I said to them is, actually, I didn't say it to them, but they reminded me, they said, you were talking to another seller and you said a buyer seller and you said, look, I'm a bulldog for you. This is about you. And I'll do whatever I can to help you. And she said, I've never heard a realtor put the focus on the other person. We were so impressed. And I was like, holy cow. So they kept it. And I was like, well, I'll keep doing that then.
And at the bottom of this one, it says, marketing materials should be created by the end of Wednesday, so you can start marketing the open house. So you want your flyers, you want your posts, you want everything go. We'll talk about social media here in a minute. But one of the things I've heard of and I've seen is that, when you do an open house, again, you're talking about the house, you're talking about the neighborhood, but you're also talking about the community. So what a great opportunity to partner with a local business and say, hey, you know what? I may have a dozen people come through the open house. If it's a local restaurant or something, hey, would you be willing to offer, if we put like a 10% off coupon, on my piece that I'm gonna give them to keep, some sort of value to them for keeping that collateral. That may or may not work. But I definitely see the benefit of partnering up with local businesses, because if you can help them, maybe they can help you. Maybe they'll let you post your open house flyer on their front door or on their countertop of their takeout service or something like that. So there's always an opportunity to create that partnership and that ability to help, advertise each other's businesses.
I'm giving away strawberry trees. from my open houses before.
Strawberry what?
Tree.
Make a little push.
Strawberry tree.
Okay.
And it was part of signing in. And at the end of the open house, we gave it away. We did like a little social media thing. We advertised.
Raffles are great.
Local shrubbery place that,
Giveaways, raffles, all that stuff works definitely. And it helps with follow-up, because you can follow up with each person and say, hey, I'm sorry you didn't win it this time, but I'm doing an open house next week at this address and I'd love to see you there and get another chance to win the strawberry tree.
To be fair about that, I used to give away $25 gift cards, and I found that the registrations were true. A lot more people were.
They want to be able to notify when they win
Yeah,
that thing. So,
yeah, so
So,
I haven't done it in a while, but
yeah.
it's something to think about bringing
Look
back.
at your registration when somebody does it, don't just assume, I know from doing even community events, take a second to look at it.
Yeah.
And say, I'm sorry, is this a 3 or an 8?
Right.
You
Is
know,
this a 4 or 9?
Yeah, and
Right.
say, can I read their handwriting? Because I've seen registration forms come back and you can't read half of
Right,
them. And if
right,
you just
right.
take this second, and also show somebody who actually engaged with them.
Yeah.
That you cared enough to take a look at it.
Yeah.
I usually write it myself, have them call it out
Oh,
and write it myself. So that it's in my handwriting.
All right, we're 1 hour into this. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is actually marketing the open house. So we've created the marketing material. Now we're focused on marketing the open house. The key to a successful open house is generating as much traffic as possible. So marketing the open house a few days before the event allows you to notify people in advance to mark their calendars. So first and foremost, I never thought about doing this, but invite your database. So we have a cool thing in Command where you can actually send a bulk email out to people. And so if you're doing an open house, one of the first things you should do on that Wednesday of a Saturday or Sunday open house is invite your database. It's a touch point. It's a way to stay in front of people. Even if you sold the house to them a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago or a couple of years ago, it's an opportunity for them to say, oh, he's still active out there. He's still selling. I got nothing going on Saturday, 1 o'clock. I could win the $25 public gift card. I mean, you never know what's going through somebody's mind. The best thing you can say is just never assume. Never assume people won't have an interest.
And they're rooting for you. Like your friends and family on Facebook, they're rooting for you. They see you doing well, they see you posting, and then you run into them and they're like, my God, you're killing it. Oh my God, you're so busy. They're so excited to be a part of that with you.
And you never know the discussions they're having with their friends and neighbors. So if you send them an email from an open house and at work that next day, they say, oh, did you hear so-and-so is getting transferred? Like, oh, you know what? They should go by this person's open house and see how they host an open house. And I think they may be a great realtor for you. You just never know. So the whole idea about anything real estate is to cast the widest net, get in front of the most people with the right message that you're able to make that personal connection, that relationship. So invite your database. Great opportunity to have a conversation with your database and check in. I talked about that.
You don't want people to forget you're in real estate.
And they will. We like to think we're great and they'll never forget us, but life happens.
So I just had this idea. I'm gonna share it, the sport part, and then instead of saying, what would you put an offer on this house? Maybe say something like, what do you think this house will sell for? With an attached, the person who guesses closest to what this house actually sells for is gonna get something.
Yeah.
I know, that's why I had to say it out loud.
Closest to the price. Yeah, no, I like that.
What do you think this house will sell for? I'm gonna email you and let you know the person who comes the closest is gonna want a $25 gift card. They're gonna give you their information.
Good stuff, Nicole.
Let's do that.
Always good stuff. All right, the next one is something that literally, I had no idea this tactic before I came to Keller Williams. And it's taught in our Ignite class. It's taught from the very basic boot camp training. And that's door knock and circle prospect the neighborhood a day or two before the open house.
So
The purpose.
go ahead, do the purpose.
The purpose is to invite neighbors to come 30 minutes early for a sneak peek of the home you're holding open. Inviting neighbors allows them to satisfy their curiosity and also provides them the opportunity to think about selling their own house. And when they visit, you can offer to provide them information about their house that would allow you to enter them into your database. It's a great time to ask for a referral.
So you guys, when I do an open house, a new home that's whatever, I try to go 10 down and then 20 across. And I invite the neighbors, I let them know. And I do it an hour ahead of time. And if it's in the morning, I do specialty coffees or, you know, donuts, or if it's later in the afternoon, I'll have cheese and cracker. And it's exclusive. And I say, this is exclusive for just the neighbors to come in. We're gonna have cheese and crackers and, you know, whatever, I gotcha. This is before the rest of the public comes in, so it's very exclusive. And the seller says to me, can I be here? And I say, no. They're like, I want to know who comes. And I say, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you who comes. And the reason I say no is because those people that come are potential sellers. And how I'm going to talk to them, I don't want that seller listening to me try to collect them. So I say no. Okay, I prefer not. Because you're the seller, you whatever, you know, I'll let you know who comes, but I say I prefer not. And people feel special.
Yeah.
That they've been exclusive, this whatever.
And Alice, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's part of the whole, 72 sold piece, is having that special feeling that you're being exclusively opportunity, right?
If you just kind of said, what is 72 sold, it's all about that, making them feel special, and they're the first to see it and all of that.
You had a question.
So I did about 20 houses for your listing. They never said anybody to come there. Had you done that for that listing?
Not for that listing, I didn't.
Okay.
And do you do you ask them to sign in also? The neighbors? Okay.
Has any movement been on that listing?
We've had 4 offers.
But
The other advantage to inviting the neighbors earlier, it kind of gets them out of the way, because sometimes you have, I call them the nosy neighbors, and I tell the neighbors, we love nosy neighbors sell homes. Because everybody wants their friends and family to live in their neighborhood.
Right.
And so when you have a nosy neighbor, they're not eating up your time when you have a real buyer in the house. So if you kind of filter through them and you have those sales pitchy conversations up front, it's not eating up your time when you're with active buyers.
And can I say,
Sure.
I have done that too with the houses, just, I like that you said just a few, because in these big developments, like I don't, for me personally, I don't think it's safe to go by myself in a big community. It's more safer just to get right here, you know what I mean, around the house.
So you asked me, did I circle prospect this home? I did not. I had 4 listings all within 10 days. So I picked and chose when I wanted to door knock. And then somebody else was behind me doing an open house. And they said they were going to circle prospect. They may not have been there when that person went through, just to knock on doors, because I think somebody else.
Well, you told me that somebody had done it, but
Yep.
nobody said, oh, somebody else.
They may have not have even been there. You know, who knows? Who knows?
How many houses do you normally go to when you're looking for an open house?
I do 10 on either side. So I go down 10, 20, 10, 40.
41, 20.
No,
Yeah, 40.
10, and 20?
40. Yeah, 40. Sorry.
So they have an example of a conversation to have. So Sherry and I are more than happy to kind of play this out for you, but you want to be the realtor or you want to be the consumer?
I'll be the consumer.
Okay.
It's a yes or no.
My name's Justin Falb with Keller Williams Realty, Daytona Beach. I'm holding an open house at 123 Main Street open on Sunday from 2 to 4. I wanted to invite all the neighbors to come take a peek. Will you be around to stop by?
Sure.
Yeah, awesome. I hope to meet you then. We would love to have you drive, give us some feedback after you check it out. Do you have anyone that you know that might be, that would love to be your neighbor? Just ask them.
Yeah, well, maybe. No, I don't know, but let's see if I say no.
Okay.
Will you be around for me to take a look at it? Nah, no, I'm busy. I'm running around with the kids that day. Get out.
Well, that's okay. There's still time. While I have you, would you like me to get an updated market report on your home?
Well, sure.
Well, sure. You know what, I will tell you, when you door knock, I always get so nervous.
Really?
I really get nervous, but when I do it, I enjoy it. You knock on the door and you say, I don't know if you know or not, but I have a listing down the way. We're gonna have an open house. So you're gonna see a little more activity.
Yeah.
You're warning them. They're like, oh, wow. This is nice. Or we're gonna have a little more activity than normal. People, driving or parking maybe around or whatever. But I'd like to invite you to come by. We'd love to hear your feedback or anything else. Would you like to come by? And they're like, I don't know, maybe. Well, here's the home. Come on by. We're open Saturday 2 to 4, whatever. And you go on. And then I take note of the house number and I send them a card. Thank you for talking to me about my open house and blah, blah, blah. If they come by, I follow up and say, thanks for coming. So, yeah.
That's another great opportunity to ask if you can put an open house on and maybe in their whaler area.
Everybody was super nice. They were very accommodating, except one lady right across the street. It almost like, and she was getting out of her car. She was gonna shut the garage and just, march on in. And I said, where are you from? She said, New York. I said, oh, and then all of a sudden she just totally changed. Like, oh, she's approachable now. She was just like, who are you? What do you want? And all that. But I figured that's a New York attitude, so I know how to work it.
So anyhow. Next one.
Anything else about that? I mean, again, circle prospecting, door knocking, is it the most fun thing to do? In the summer, an hour before you're gonna host an open house? No. Picking your time,
Make more fun too when you do it with somebody.
Absolutely.
Not do it by yourself.
and there's things that you can do that make your approach a little bit more appreciated. So we've had some agents who, when they do their door knocking, they carry around a little pop by type gift. So, maybe again, if you're doing an open house, you want to kind of keep the theme related to the open house or to the neighborhood. But there's different things that people do that it doesn't cost a lot of money. And even if you're offering just a Ziploc bag of whatever, whether it's, you name it, seeds if they want to start a garden. And maybe your message could be, I'm trying to plant the seeds in your neighborhood, or, just popping by and it's a little thing of microwave popcorn. I mean, you hear all this stuff. Pop rocks are another thing where, just popping by with pop rocks.
I just did my neighborhood. I walk my neighborhood at least twice a year, and it was extra gum.
That was.
And we did, it said extra care, extra something, extraordinary results. Your neighborhood consultant.
So how you attach your business card?
She has a little sticker.
It's a sticker. Just put it right on the extra gun.
So you get those labels, the Avery, whatever, 5130, whatever.
One year we did a Christmas ornament, a little Christmas ornament, just to say Merry Christmas. We wanted to introduce yourself.
Yeah, nice.
Hey,
Rick said he would hand out little notes with suckers taped to it, and it would say, don't be a dumb dumb. Call Rick.
to get you on the dumb dumps like $5, so yeah, it's easy. But there are times like if you're doing one around St. Patty's Day, I mean, do a theme. If you're doing like, I think you were the one who came to me my first year, and 4th of July, she was putting little American flags in everybody's
I did.
driveway, and one neighbor got pet
Yeah.
because you didn't give him a flag.
No, the flag, touched the ground.
Oh,
Well, you know what, you guys, you can always go into, and I love Chat GTP. You can ask for.
What is that?
So that's where I got the extraordinary, whatever. I said, can you do a Popeye for a realtor using extra gum, extra as the slang? And they gave me like 7, and I used one.
For those,
Another good resource for that is Pinterest. Go on Pinterest and write, spring Popeyes, St. Patrick's Day Popeyes, popcorn Popeyes, whatever.
Right.
Make it realtor. Make it real. Can you add more? Guess what?
Come out right.
Did my whole.
There you go.
So Carrie, one more question, it's your presentation, when you go on, you say, da-da-da. Now that said, ask them about doing a market. thing, I don't like that.
I don't.
Market
yeah,
report?
Do that.
It sounds robotic. I mean, it was in there as the script, but I would not normally say something like that specific thing.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable. I just invite them to come in. I
Yeah.
want their opinion. Come on.
Yeah.
And if they're cranky, I find if you just say, I just wanted to give you my information in case you see anything unusual, or, let you know there's gonna be extra traffic, or,
Yeah,
somebody parks on your lawn the wrong way, please just call me right away.
good idea.
Kill them with
Put
kindness.
that card on a magnet, it's going right on the
You
refrigerator.
know what?
So here's some good stuff. I mean,
Still
post.
do, I know how to.
I'm assuming everybody here knows how to post to social media, but we do have the social media pieces. So there's two ways to post to social media. There's just the free post where you're putting just a post out there talking about your open house. You can use the flyer that you created in designs and post that to social media if you want to do that. But obviously you want to include the following: the day and time you're having it, the address, key details of the home, square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, and a call to action. And the call to action would be something like click to get a sneak peek, where it takes them to a quick video tour of the property. And that's where I mentioned, know that property, create your own unique private video walkthrough, post it as a private YouTube upload. So upload the private link to YouTube. And then what you do is you share that link with anybody who clicks for more information. So you're giving them unique content that's you talking them through the property and then inviting them to your open house.
So if you do something like that, there's something called trigger when you do a landing, and if they put their information in, you can do a trigger.
Yes.
And I don't know if it'll do an automatic.
I want to take you back to something here, because there was another piece that we did yesterday that I skipped. So when you're in here, I think it's in here.
Let me finish.
Yes, go for it.
So if you do it, you can probably do a trigger to automatically send that video. The triggers are immediate, a tag is something different. So, but this is way high. You gotta get with Vincent about that.
While you're doing that, the things, people that feel comfortable with live videos, you can also shoot a live video.
Yes, on Facebook Live or something like that. Yes, you can.
If you feel comfortable doing.
Yeah. While he's looking, I'll share to you why it's so good to touch your database, touch your friends on Facebook. There was a study that happened, this is when I first got into real estate, and they said that they did a dummy realtor farmed a neighborhood. And they did it like every 3 weeks, they sent out emails, every whatever. And then after a year, they did a survey and they said, who's your neighborhood realtor? And they found that almost 70% said the dummy realtor.
Really?
Yes. So, and then on top of that, when you ask somebody, give me your favorite ice cream. Give me your favorite ice cream.
Carrot cake.
No. Brands. Give me your brand.
Briar.
Okay,
Yeah.
what else? Give me Briars.
Okay, Bluebell.
Not, let her do it. Bluebell, who else? The point is, right, you can ask for potato chips, you got Lay's, you got.
Yeah.
The thing is most people's capacity is 2 to 3 deep. And you want to be top of mind. You want to be the Briars, you want to be Chick-fil-A or whatever. You want to be top of mind. So it's important to try and touch these people. It's important to be out there on social media. It's important to call. It's important. All these things that we say keeps you top of mind. You're the Briars. You're the Lays. Hey, chips. Go ahead. What are we gonna do?
Well, I was going to share with you, I hate to bounce around. We were talking about the landing page. And one thing you want to do when you're in the consumer site piece, so when you're in the commands, the consumer site, you're at this home dashboard, under site and app settings, there's something that I want to make sure everybody understands. And that is what they call registration. So everybody's default setting is unrestricted, meaning that a visitor can go to your website and they can search as many properties as they want. It will never ask them to register. It is customizable. You can select unrestricted, means they could look forever and never have to register to be a user of your site. You could do 10 properties where a visitor will be able to view 10 properties on your site before being asked to register. You could do 2 properties, or you could do no properties, which means the second that they hit your website, it's going to ask them to register and sign in. So you can make it as sticky or as non-sticky as possible, but the whole idea and the fight all along has always been, if somebody goes to your website and they truly have an interest in learning about real estate, chances are they're going to be willing to sign in and create an account. If you ask somebody to register and they say, I'm not going to do it, and they close it and they go somewhere else, did you lose a sale?
No.
No, you could have, but you don't know. So by putting the forced registration to no property viewing, you may cut off some potential consumers. So a lot of people like to give them at least 2. You click on 2, but you click on that 3rd property, you're gonna have to register. It's, again, there's a reason why it's your ability to create this and set this. So it's completely up to you on how much you want to create this. Scott.
There's probably a study for everything, so there's probably a sweet spot, but KV Core was preset to 2.
Yeah.
2 freebies, and then you had to register.
And KV Core is the biggest consumer applet out there that's not command for Keller Williams right now. KV Core is used by every franchise out there. So the Remaxes, the EXPs, everybody is using, they all use, Coldwell Banker just switched to them. So KV Core is kind of the non-KW version of command. It does a lot of different things as well. But I do think that 2 properties is probably a good one to set it at. I just wanted to point out everybody's default is unrestricted. So if you leave here and learn nothing else, go to consumer, site and app settings, and then set your property limits to what you want it to be. So at least you have a chance. Now, obviously, if you're using something like this, that's going to squeeze them to a landing page, it's going to ask for it right away, because that's the whole goal of sending them to this page is to register. So that they're not going to get to look at different properties. It's just sending them to a landing page for this specific property. Cool. Hey.
And after they register on the landing page, are they registered on your portal?
Yes, they'll have to log in. So they'll just log in using their, whatever. A lot of times they'll just say log in using Facebook, because there is that option. And then from now on, when they log in, it'll say, Facebook.
I noticed that one does not have a dollar amount on it.
Correct.
How do you feel about putting how much it costs? Because if I'm going to an open house, I want to know. That's in the house.
Well, in the
But I
landing
want to know.
page, when they scan this.
Yeah, but
So Barb, just remember the whole idea,
old school.
the whole idea of this is to get them to sign into something. So if they sign into here, they're going to see the price. They're going to see everything in there, but you're getting their name, phone number, email, and contact information. I mean, you can give them a flyer. A flyer's that's going to have all the information. But if you're wanting them to sign into something, you want to get their information. The whole idea is
She
this.
gives the option of either taking a picture of the code or signing in, and people were very awkward to all of a sudden stop, and then they have to start doing all this and bringing up the thing, and it seemed much easier to me just right now.
It is, but if you get them to do this work ahead of time in front of you and you see that they register, you've got them in your CRM. And the whole idea, the whole foundation of everything we teach here at Keller Williams is to build a database. If you get a piece of paper signed, what happens if you get busy? What happens if you spill coffee or water on this piece of paper and you lose all the information on this? Or it's going to take you an hour when you get home to put all this stuff into your system. It's done. They're in there. The whole idea is to build a database, feed it every day, nurture it and contact it in a TCP way, friendly way, and then don't let anything fall through the cracks. Nicole.
Also putting the amount on there is a disqualifier. I can't afford that. They never sign in.
Right. And to follow up on that, I'd like to not have the amount, because then you'll have, when you're door knocking and people coming in, they'll ask you, what's this listed for?
Right.
And you
You're
can
giving
start
them
with a combo.
Right.
Yeah, you give them the info, find out their budget, because
Right.
they're engaging on the price point.
Right, right.
There's everything is,
Yes.
there's no perfect science.
Yes, call me, if you're advertising, I think when you advertise, you put the price on, but
So on Facebook, you'd have the price. there.
I would, but if
I always
you
do.
think this would give
But
me.
she makes a good point.
For,
Could be an immediate
personal
disqualifier for
right,
Yeah.
it's how you want to market, some work, some won't, whatever
The
you want
whole
to do.
goal is everything that's collected here is like the best results they've had as kind of a best practices of what's been used over time. So
Okay,
you should start marketing the open house on Thursday on social media. So again, give yourself 2 or 3 days lead time on there. Now, again, they give some examples of social media posts. All right, now we're getting ready to host. You created all the materials you need. You've invited everyone you can. Now it's time to host an amazing event. Setting out signs. This is important. So signage is the last key step in getting as much traffic as possible. Again, when going through this, I felt like 20 to 40 signs, that's crazy overload. But 20 signs, how many were out here, Nicole? I think 20,
I think that was only 10 or 12, right?
but it went fast. And so like, again, if you're in a neighborhood where there's like 3 or 4 turns and you're putting 2 signs at every corner, it piles up quickly. I used to have 10 in my back every time when I was hosting open houses regular, 10. And I could only cover 2 main entrances and maybe 1 turn inside the neighborhood. So 20 is not crazy, but I would have a nice inventory because again, sometimes they get stolen, sometimes they get ruined, sometimes it rains and it gets windy and they blow away.
And to talk about, we talked about 2 hours or 3 hours, all you guys, a lot of people like 2 hours. If you want to maximize that traffic, I mean, if you're spending all that time to do the marketing and the prep work, you might as well put the signs out, all the major intersections, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And then there's different stats that come in that if you have 1 balloon or 2 balloons, like anything you can do to get more attention, obviously, are those balloons work, right? They do. People use them a lot. But the other thought is, again, obviously you've got to be recognizing the city, the subdivision. Ideally, if you're going to do an open house on a Saturday at 1 o'clock, if you could have your open house signs up the night before or the morning of, trying to catch traffic that's coming and going, but a lot of times you're just begging for them to get stolen, taken by city, code enforcement, HOA, that kind of stuff. So
Other agents.
Be aware of what the rules are, where you're doing the open house.
Yeah, Georgia, you can only put them out like that day. There's history.
And they don't want them sitting out for days. There's a reason behind this. I mean, realtors have been known for leaving their junk out forever. I mean, we have a for sale sign down the street from an agent who hasn't been with us for over a year and it still says Keller Williams on it. So, we don't change our stuff. But yeah, so put the signs at all directional stops, major intersections, entrances to the neighborhood, several throughout the neighborhood. You want to capture as many people driving by as possible. And don't forget to put a sign in the front yard so people know which house you're holding open. Again, if you can start the night before, if you have an open house early in the morning, putting signs out the night before will maximize the amount of people coming in that morning. The biggest thing here is arrive early. Okay. I have seen so many realtors that will advertise they're doing an open house from 2 to 4 and they come rolling up at like 1:58. So many times. So part of hosting an open house is setting up that house to have its best curb appeal, best capture, best thing. So Barbara, you just said it, if you go and host an open house and you go in an hour before the open house and you bake some chocolate chip cookies or some oatmeal raisin cookies and you get that smell out, and that takes time. You can't just show up. But the other things you want to make sure you do is make sure you're setting that house up for its best showing. So opening blinds, turning on lights, making sure that things are swept up. I mean, I've gone into homes that, a seller says, oh, it's beautiful. We had the cleaning company come out yesterday, and you walk in and there's streaks on the windows. I mean, condos, I will tell you, if you want to sell a condo, clean the windows, clean the windows, especially the ocean views. I have walked into a condo open house and there's just like, I don't know what they were thinking, but even like some obviously windows in a condo you can't get to unless you have scaffolding and that kind of stuff. But if there's a sliding glass door that goes to a patio, that sliding glass door, you should have people almost walking through the door because it's so clean. I have seen hand marks and face marks and dog, you name it, it's on there.
So yeah, come early because I have a little broom in my car for the front door. Always sweep.
Lysol wipes on the countertops and all those.
Pledge and I have a window cleaner because they don't see it, y'all.
Right.
They just don't see it. They live there, but we're trying to. Cleanliness is next to godliness. If the home is clean, people, if they're looking at apples to apples, they'll say, I like that home better and I don't know why.
Yeah.
And if it's the fall or winter, bring a blower.
Yeah,
Bring the driveway off.
And why don't they?
Just a trick.
Steel, I don't.
Just a trick from working in bar industry. If you really want to get those windows streak free, get a $4 squeegee. I mean, you can sit there and wipe and wrap it off, and you're like, why won't these streaks go away? Get a squeegee.
And we pulled weeds up towards the front door, make the front door look as good as it can.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons to arrive early. So again, if you're inviting the neighbors for that sneak preview, you better be early. You should be there early to greet them. Again, it's a great opportunity to talk to the neighbors one-on-one about the neighborhood traffic, the market, ask for a referral. You can mention the monthly neighborhood nurtures and ask if it's something they'd like to be interested in receiving from you. And then before the open house starts, again, take 1 to 2 quick videos of the neighborhood or key features of the house and to post that on social media. Again, just another marketing push for your visitors.
I always get there early because my super key has never worked.
There's the
And I
fun
keep
of
going to
Supra.
the car and they're like, did you do this? Yes. Did you do? Has anybody else had any problem with super key? Is it just me?
Well,
The thing is, just make sure your Bluetooth is on. I've never had an issue with it.
And make sure to update it before you
Yeah.
leave your home because you're connected to Wi-Fi. Because if you don't update the key and you go to Plantation Bay, you are not going to update
That's
that.
right.
That's
I
super-
spent a half hour at the last place trying to get in.
You'll see the red thing that tells
Yep.
you.
All right,
Again, host the open house. You wanna
So-
pick that?
so you guys, well, it says here, this is it, people are coming in and out, you're introducing yourself, you're asking them to sign in, you're having conversations. So one of the first things, it says here, hi, welcome to 123 Main Street, what brings you by today?
I'm
That's
just
my
looking.
number one
I'm just
question.
looking.
Okay, well, we typically find people come to open houses, either look for a home of their own or to find the value of your home. Do you live near here?
No,
Oh, where do you live?
I live in Miami.
So, you just be real, you guys, ask those questions, and some of the questions I ask is, what brings you by? What brings you by? Well, I'm a seller. Oh, how long have you lived here? If they've lived here more than 3 or 4 years, they might be thinking about selling. Okay, oh, I'm just looking. Oh, do you have a realtor that you're working with? Why do you ask? Well, because I won't necessarily follow up with you. I'll follow up with your realtor. What's their name? Oh, I can't remember their name. Well, they really don't have a realtor. You might be able to win them over, okay? But how are you looking to purchase a home like this? Well, yes, I am. How long have you been looking? I've been looking for 3 years. I mean, how many people have been looking? I'm not gonna work with them.
Yeah.
Why haven't you found a home?
Yeah.
And that, start asking those questions. Well, I just haven't been able to afford it. Have you been pre-approved yet? No, I haven't even been pre-approved. Would you like me to help you with that? Find something, be real. Now, I do have a court board
Yes.
and an easel, and I bring in, this is what I have on it. I have my bio. I have this, take a look, fall in love, make an offer. Okay, I have the house, but I also have the comps. Okay,
Active, sold.
I have
Pending.
actives, pendings, and solds. And I can say, here's my home today. If this is small print, I usually do it, but I forgot my everything, so I had to do it here. But I'll say, as you can see, there's only 2 active homes here. And there's another one that's only 1,300 square feet. And if you look at my price per square foot, we're almost $20 cheaper than what else is sold. This value of this home is incredible. You can always talk to the stats.
I had more people ask me for that sheet at my open houses than my actual flyer. Can I get a copy of those comps?
Yes,
What-
I can. I can give you a copy.
I can
Give
email
you-
it to you.
You don't give it to them.
No.
Do you have a 1 mile radius on those? On the
This is the neighborhood.
All right.
What if you're
So-
not?
If you're not in a
So you
neighborhood,
could
you
just
find
drop
out.
a pin and do,
Yeah.
Quarter mile.
Okay,
at 10,
but you
20.
guys, you've got a story. Or you can say, if it's more expensive, you can say, well, you notice this home is only $10,000 more than the one that just sold. But we've got an updated kitchen, updated bathroom, new roof. That's worth $50,000.
And it's
The value of this is incredible. You can talk.
And if somebody wants to see the active listing and say, hey, I want to help you find the house that's right for you. So when I wrap up this open house, if you want me to set up a showing to go take a look at that one, hey, let's.
So I do, I have a cork board, I bought it, it's a whiteboard on one side and it's a cork board on the other. And what I do is I just staple these are standard, I take these out and staple new ones.
Is it on a stand or is it?
Well, a lot
How
of
is yours?
times I just stick it in on one calendar. Okay. And because it brings them in.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other thing I have is, if you are working with a buyer or even a seller, you can say, have you bought a home in a while? Would you like to learn about the buying process? Well, yeah, I would. How about we make an appointment? And I would love to go through this with you. Okay, and then here's my open house sign, and then I use a perforation. How do I find a perforation? You go to Joanne Fabrics or Michael's or whatever, and you get there's a wheel.
Yeah,
on
with
a,
all the spikes on it.
yes,
Is it in the sewing section?
it's in the
Yeah.
sewing section.
So it's for like a tracer.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah,
fabric.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what it was for, yeah.
So I have the home buying process, and I also have a packing process. If I find out a seller's, someone, oh, I've got this really cool resource. I only have one, you guys. I don't give this out. The reason being is, I'd love to send this to you. I'd love to contact, can we sit down? Because if I have them all, they go away, they've got it.
They've got no reason to come.
Right. So I'm like, I'd love to show this to you. And I love this because it looks like a monopoly, the whole buying process. It's got my emblem, helpful strategy, and then mistakes. So I have those so I can follow up.
Where did you get that?
Yeah, where did you get that?
So I have this as somewhere. I have no idea. I've been in the business 8 years. I can send you, I think I have this not in a PDF, but in a Word document. I can send it to you and you can fill this in.
Where do you have a list of everybody that's been in this room, by the way?
Sarah. Great broker, that's a version of that, and it's around the circle that you could brand to yourself. I use it regularly. I love it. It's free.
Where's
It's
that?
branded to a great broker.
And you can go to like,
They have a
Etsy,
lot of-
Etsy has this stuff where you can buy it and it's like $3 and you can download it, use it as many times as you want, rebrand it to yourself. There's
I'll
a
give-
lot of things that are out there that.
Sorry, I'll give this to Sarah and she can send it out.
Just to add to show what else is showing in the neighborhood as far as listings, one thing that we do is all of our open houses together. And if we get a buyer that doesn't like that house, but would like to go see that, we'll go right on and see if we can show it immediately. And one of us will stay at the open house and the other one will go show the property developer. We've sold 2 houses that way.
Wow.
And it's also safe to the partner.
What's funny is, and I rarely mention realtors by name, but I will share with you that Lori Brigley's very first open house she ever did. I partnered her with an experienced agent because I felt like being brand new, doing an open house with an experienced agent, it would be a great opportunity. Like what we ask everybody here to do. What was funny was I didn't realize that the agent with the experience was very much old school, was just focused on selling that property. What Lori did with the very first person who came into that open house, as soon as she realized that these buyers were not going to be interested in that open house, and the open house at the Cloverleaf condo on Beachside and Daytona Beach Shores, this person wanted oceanfront. So Lori immediately jumped into MLS, did a search for the criteria, and left that experienced agent and showed those buyers property, and her very first open house wrote a full price offer on the third property she showed by leaving.
It impresses the customer.
This is a new agent doing her very first open house, jumping on it and running that.
Lori, though,
Now, if you don't know, Lori sold $34 million last year in her third year in real estate, so
Right.
you can really see quickly how that happened. But I just want to share with you that exactly what you said, if you are able to partner up with somebody else. And what was beautiful is that Lori and that experienced agent shared that buyer lead because it came from the open house as part of the learning experience. So it was a great opportunity for both people to have
We
that.
check RPR while we're in there, and we know exactly what's for sale in that neighborhood. When someone comes in and says, oh, I just don't like the way that wall cuts this off. Oh, there's 4 other properties in this neighborhood. We've previewed them, and I know for one that one of them doesn't have that wall. Would you like to go see it? So you already know what's right there in the neighborhood. They don't mind going a couple streets over. They may not want to go to a whole nother side of Daytona.
That helps you stand out as that expert.
That's right. You look like the expert.
And I like that you said preview them, because if you should preview the inventory in that area. If you're hoping to get
That's
somebody
our
to go see
competition
another
for that
property.
day.
It's your competition.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let me take you at 3 o'clock down the block, because I know
And RPR is fantastic. It will show you what's for sale right within this. that-
I'll tell you, free leads are awesome, and some of my best leads ever came from previewing new listings. So when you get that hot sheet each morning and it shows you the new properties that just got listed, if you see one that you truly want to go preview, there's nothing wrong with reaching out to that listing and say, hey, congratulations on the new listing. I may have a couple buyers interested in it. Can I go by and preview it? And you set up your showing for a half hour or whatever. And then you park your car right out in front of the property with hopefully your magnetic sign on the side of it. And anybody else who happens to see you looking at that house, I literally had 3 investors walk into one of my previews. I was truly taking a video for a California buyer that was not able to be there, but asked me to preview the house. I'm previewing the house, taking video, and people keep knocking on the door because it was just listed. Hey, are you the listing agent? No, I'm not the listing agent, but I'm taking a video. Give me a second. And I'd love to show you the property if you're not working with another agent. And I picked up 3 investors that way. So even if you don't have buyers right now, being knowledgeable about the new listings, being knowledgeable about the other properties in the neighborhood that you're going to do an open house in, it allows you that exposure to maybe come across that person who's interested in that house right then and there.
It does happen. We picked up an investor ourselves that way. He walked up, saw us there, thought it was our listing. Boom, we
So-
find his second house probably next.
So finding the buyers, it's so important, but I also want to share with you. If it's 2 o'clock and it's time to go. What I always do is I take the sign off. The front, lock the door, and then I go around and I do everything. Lately, though, I've left the sign up and have locked the door after 2 o'clock, and I'll have people knock. I showed up with a buyer. This was 2 months ago, with a buyer. Little bit after the open house was over, it was like 10 minutes later, there was another truck out front. And I said to the people, I said, are you here to look at the home? And they said, well, we wanted to go to the open house, but it looks like it's done. And I said, well, I'm showing the house to some clients of mine. Why don't you come on in? You can look at it. And they're like, oh, we don't want to bother you. And I said, don't worry about it. You're from New York, because they had New York tags. And they said, yeah. And I said, well, I'm from New York. Come on, let's all go. Because the people I was with. Come to find out, they wanted to sell their home and buy a home. Last month, I almost just shy of $1 million with these people. Because the agent left right at 2 o'clock, and this was like 7 minutes after.
Yeah.
Wow. So it behooves you to perhaps,
Lock the door.
lock the
collect
door.
All the signs.
Well, no, you're gonna shut down the lights, you're gonna shut down your music, you're gonna pack up, you're gonna do all these things, because you want to have music, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever, if you have candles, or whatever. But lock the front door. I'm leaving the sign up now after 2, if it's 2 o'clock. As I do this, because there are people that are like, well, we can get to this last one at 2.
Yeah.
Well, it's 2:05 and the agent's already gone. That little wiggle room, if you notice, when you do open houses, to me at least, I've noticed. Really busy in the beginning, really busy at the end. I've picked up 3 buyers. Showing up a little bit afterwards, not on purpose, but the agent's already gone.
Yeah, Justin Prince was just a great one. He said the last 2 open house he packed up slowly because. he's
Yeah,
had
we did
people
too.
come in.
Linger for 15
Good
minutes.
job, Justin, good.
Scott?
I was curious, how, you would handle going to an open house with a buyer at that time, or you're showing another house that's just been listed. Somebody pulls up, are you the listing agent? No, but I'm working with this family. Oh, could we see it too? And then the people you're with are like, you're a little chafed because this is a private showing. How would you handle it, Joe?
I would always, so you're talking about other buyers showing up without an agent?
Yeah.
I
I've
would
had that
usually,
happen.
it depends on my comfort level with the people I'm with.
Yeah.
And usually I can usually know right away, if they're friends of mine, they're like, oh, go get that sale. And I've had that happen so many times, like, I'm not buying this house, go get them. But most of the time I will let those customers know at the door, I'm in a private showing right now that we've scheduled. I'd be more than happy to show you after this is over. Once they're done looking at it, so you have the time to go through the property and kind of have your own private conversation and comments about it. But I do try to treat it as two different parties. Now, you know, you could always give them your card and say, hey, here's my card. I won't be far from here. We'll be, you know, if we had like 6 other showings scheduled, I'm on a very tight timeline. I may give them a card and say, listen, I'm fully dedicated with these folks right now. I'd love to show you another time. If you have a team, great, you pawn them off to your spouse or your other person, partner. Or if the schedule allows, just let them know, I want to wrap up with this private showing. I'd be more than happy to have you come in as soon as we're finished here.
So I agree with him. These people were with me in my car and they were saying to me, just tell them to come, just come. I have had people show up or just waiting at a house for some weird reason. I show up. And I always ask my folks, hey, you know, we don't know these people. They want to see the home. Do you mind if I show it to them? But I'll tell you, so you'll know your people, you know, but what I've done usually is I'll say to them, hey, look, we can look, but I'm on a showing, I'm on a high timeline. Here's my card. I'll meet you at Panera Bread at 4 o'clock today. We can talk about what you're looking for and everything, help you out. And sure enough, I mean, I've only had one person blow me off.
Okay.
They actually are there.
I was just curious about that perspective because it's happened a few times and it was an uncomfortable spot and I was kind of like, you know, you're immediately on the spot. How do you react to that? And I was just kind of.
And you want that buyer, you don't want to.
You don't want to lose them, but at the same time, you don't want to offend the people you're with.
Right.
And you're more vested into these folks who are showing properties to, they're pre-qualified. Well, this person could just be that looky-loo. They could be that person wanting to case the joint. And if you're the one who just lets them in and you're focused on your customers and they're just looking around. Yeah, it's liability there.
It's hard too, because you're trying to cater.
It happened quite a few times to us last summer when it was so crazy.
Yeah.
You know, especially the beachside kind of properties were showing and people are driving by, they see a car there, they see the sign out, they're on vacation, they see the beach, you know.
It is, it's uncomfortable.
Now, the biggest part of having a successful open house is not in the marketing or not in the execution, but the key is in the follow-up. And what blew me away was there are systems you can buy into that will automatically, you know, actually, no, I mean, you don't have to buy into it, but you know, if you have Twilio connected to your command account, you can text and email systematically. So if you create, and there's plenty, you don't have to create it from scratch, but there are plenty of smart plans that have been created called an open house smart plan, and you can search in the libraries and you can find the one that's right for you. But a lot of times an open house smart plan will have a series of texts and emails that have already been created that are basically saying, thank you for stopping by my open house. Very nice to meet you. That's the text. And it'll say something like, here's the best number to reach me. Please reach out with any real estate questions you may have. Then maybe the next day, command will send an email and the email will say something similar. It might give a tip on getting pre-qualified. Maybe it has your preferred lender's contact or a couple different lenders, maybe some home buyer programs that are out there for down payment assistance or things like that, or the difference between conventional and FHA, something that's going to show you as that expert. And then maybe that smart plan triggers a task for you where we'll put on your task list for that day, call this prospect and thank them for coming. So you're getting that 3-touch plan where you're able to text, email, and call. A lot of times, most agents, they may call once, they may text once after the open house, but if they never get a response back, oh, that's a looky-loo, I'm done with them. They don't have any interest, and they never get touched again. If you put them on a monthly neighborhood nurture and subscribe them to the neighborhood that they attended the open house, at least once a month, you're gonna get something in front of them that has value information on that neighborhood they saw you at.
So before I came here, I was on a team in Austin and we did, the system we had and it worked was if we did an open house, you contact that person with the value that day. So let's say, man, you came to the open house and you said, you know what, I think I need a bigger home. Oh, you do? Do you like this neighborhood? Well, yeah, I like this neighborhood. My kids, you know, they know a lot of kids in here. Sure, okay. Tell you what, I'll give you a call later on. I can send you whatever. So we found a value, and that's why I have that thing, and I write down, they wanna know. So I call them up and I'll say, hey, Mandy, thanks for coming to my open house today. You mentioned blank. I have that information for you. What's your email? And boom, it's gone. So now I definitely have their phone number and their email, but you contact that night, you're tired. You don't want to, but you know what? You're doing a freaking open house to find these people, might as well do it. And then you just follow up.
And
Now,
Sherry, had they come to your open house and they came to my open house, guess what? Sherry calls them that night. My follow-up plan is the next day. Guess who just got in front of them first?
Right.
Who shows that they're more aggressive, willing to work for you?
Yeah, so those smart plans, you can go in and you can edit them and you can put a trigger on it immediately, boom, whatever. They're really good, but I follow up and I keep track, and I do, you gotta contact them. If they say they wanna buy in 3 months, you always cut it in half. Cut it in half. I want to buy in 6 months. Well, they're really 3, and
You
you
wanna get
contact
them,
them. Yep.
So I have a question about, like, when you create like the QR code in the landing page, how does it input their contact information in command? Like, does it tag it? Does it do?
So you
go
can,
in
you
and
can do
edit?
that. So, there's different, it's a good question, and ask Sarah that specifically, because I know when you create the Facebook, the sponsor, the paid ads,
Yeah.
you can create auto tags, you can do auto smart plans. I don't think the landing page works that way, but get with Sarah on that piece specifically.
Personal experience of following up with people after an open house. I usually email them that night. I cannot tell you how many people I've had email me back saying that no other agent followed up with them.
Exactly.
And they've gone to see, a half dozen open houses that day. Follow up with people.
Yeah. It's it. I mean, really, if somebody took the time to come to your open house, you've had the time to connect with them. Don't just blow them off and never touch them again or never talk to them again, because they're gonna assume you're too busy for their business. And again, I literally have probably 30 people in my Flex MLS that have been getting subscriptions for almost a decade now, that I've never sold a house to, but every time they get something that matches, they open it. I see they open it. I haven't called them. Shame on me. Shame on me. But so if attendees, so that the attendees were not automatically added to your database through the registration sheet, add them and make notes on which open house they attended, tag them, put notes in of conversation pieces. Because again, the more specific and detailed you can get in your follow-up, the more impressed they're going to be, like, oh, wow, she talked to all these people and remembered this about me.
So
It's so important.
So the rest of this packet has follow-up conversations and detail. I think it's almost 2:00, and Justin showed me something yesterday that is so cool. It's contacting people through their app. Okay, so let's say they came in, you put them on your app, you put them in your person, right? Person, whatever, contact. If you go to your app, and he showed me this yesterday and I just blew away.
So go to your red KW command app, right? So if you used a forced registration and they put their name, phone number, and email in there, they should come into you as a new app, new contact. And if you go to your contacts, which on the bottom of your app, the second spot over is your contacts. There's a thing at the top of this so you can mark it as leads. So if they came in through a forced registration paid or a paid ad, they're gonna mark as a lead, and they'll have a little L next to them.
Where is that again?
So under contacts, up here at the top, there's leads. Contacts, leads. Leads would be anything that came into you from a paid ad, from a forced registration page.
People you haven't talked to yet, right? Or
No, I mean, it could be people, I mean, they're marked as a lead if they come in through some sort of advertisement you put out there.
Gotcha.
So then when I physically put somebody in myself, I should not have them as a lead. then.
It's up to you on how you want to, how you want to be systematized is completely what works for you.
I don't know.
I don't want to tell you what's wrong with the leader.
So let's just say, okay, let's say AJ Trotta, this is one of my people.
So she has the contacts open. So again, I don't want to get focused on contacts or leads. I just want to show you leads are going to be where, so if you had a forced registration page and they came in, it'd be under your leads. Or on your dashboard, it'd be under somewhere probably like leads never contacted on the homepage. So if you click on that and it gives you any names, anywhere you see a name, if you have any type of information about them, it's going to have a little phone. It's going to have a little bubble that it looks like you're reading from a cartoon, or there's going to be a little envelope. Each one of those three things triggers a different action. The phone is exactly that. It's a phone call. So if I hit the phone icon, I don't mean to talk to you. Are you good with this?
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you hit the phone icon, it's going to pull up a submenu. It's going to say, call using this device or call using WhatsApp. So it gives you two options. I could call them using my phone number from my device, or I could call them using WhatsApp if I have WhatsApp downloaded on my phone and presuming that the customer you're trying to contact uses WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a popular app that's used a lot amongst international travelers.
So call me on WhatsApp. I've got WhatsApp. Do you have one?
I think I have you in there.
So he's
So I'm
gonna
gonna
call
hit
me.
call using WhatsApp. So I'm calling Sherie now because she's a contact. Call using WhatsApp. It's gonna kick me into the WhatsApp app on my phone. Yeah, the WhatsApp app. I'm gonna hit the little phone number, the little phone at the top, start voice call.
Now, why would you do WhatsApp as opposed to regular?
Well, you
number?
can do regular phone, okay? I'm gonna say, hey, Justin, cool, okay, done.
So now when I hang up WhatsApp and I exit out of the WhatsApp app, it asks me, do I want to add an activity? And if I hit yes, it automatically kicks up interaction type call, and I can drop that down and do call, text, email, whatever. The date, did they answer, left a voicemail, or we talked, and you select one of those. And then in notes, I could put in what we talked about.
Can you speak your notes in?
Yes, you can.
And same thing if you text.
If you text, you can
Same
speak your
thing.
text in.
You do it
And
through
then
your
as
app.
soon as I hit save on this, at the top save, when I log into command, next time in front of my computer and I go to Sherie that contact, this activity now falls in the timeline there, so I can see that we've talked. So if you're using your cell phone to contact your database, I don't want to hear anybody using the phone or the messaging app. Use your KW app to contact people, because then at least you'll be able to find in here when
It's
you
all
last spoke.
integrated.
You could sort by last contacted. So if you're wondering who haven't I talked to in 6 months, you flip the last contact and flip it over, and you'll see the people you haven't spoken to and the people you should start speaking to.
Have a question.
Yes,
about-
right, Julia.
On one of my buyers right now, when I hit like the message, it says send using this device or send using WhatsApp,
Yes.
and it gives the primary as of a completely different number. It's not my.
That's your customer's number.
That's your customer's number.
Carry on.
So you guys, one of my biggest beefs in command forever, right, was I'd have to call, and then you gotta go in and log it. Now it's integrated.
Yeah. Now, the other thing they just added in both the Droid and the iPhone is you can now import. So if you're in the contacts at the bottom and you hit import, it says importing personal account, and I hit continue. It's going to give me every contact that's in my phone. I have 3,710. If I hit select all and continue, it's going to pull everybody off my phone and put them into command. Now, I don't want to do that. I want to clear that selection and I want to pick just the one person. So if I'm searching and I put in, I think you're in there already. I know Ashley's not in there because we haven't had. So Ashley Moss. So if I put Ashley Moss and I hit continue and I hit continue, you're ready to thrive. When I hit continue now, if I want to call Ashley, I just type in here, Ashley. And I literally can call her right now from my phone. And hopefully you answer. 3, 2, 1.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Is it ringing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
So I just-
actually comes up as your personal phone.
Right.
It's
not,
right?
But I have you on my.
it's yeah.
But it's your phone number. It's not a Twilio number, a fake number. So this should be the foundation of you reaching out to your database and recording those activities in your command.
So Wait, so you're gonna call them through WhatsApp, but it's gonna show like it's calling from your phone?
You know, well, WhatsApp's connected to your phone.
Okay.
But I called you from my regular phone. I didn't call you from WhatsApp. You want me to try you calling you from WhatsApp? It says add activity. I hit yes, and I say what you're talking about.
The import function is brand new. It just started like Sunday.
Yeah.
I used it yesterday and it works fantastic.
There are some, like if it's a duplicate, if it's a content that's already in command, it's gonna say contact could not be imported.
Exactly.
It's probably because it's a duplicate. So it won't let you do duplicates. If it's missing some information, sometimes it won't allow the import. Now, the one other thing I want to share with everybody about command that I blew Sherry's mind about yesterday was when you go into the home screen, your little icon here at the top, click on that icon for a second. You could see some things that if you're on a team, it'll say your personal account and your team account, so you can toggle back and forth between them. But the coolest thing is go to my business card. It pops up, okay, it's what a QR code. Now, if someone scans this QR code and saves this contact into their phone, anything I have on my marketing profile and command is going to share. So my QR code has my website, it has my YouTube channel, it has my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter, my everything and every way we want to communicate. So it's not just a name, a phone number, an email, it's everything about you and the way to correspond.
You can share your app that way.
You could share your app that way
Like a
too.
business card.
Yes, the digital business card.
Digital business card.
So like truly, if you just want to take a screenshot, like on a Droid, you do screenshot. Now I can just send that screenshot to anybody else that wants to download my stuff.
That's right.
So we hope you learned something. About open houses. This playbook, you guys.
Yeah, the rest of the playbook, like literally, I'm only on page 15. There are 15 more pages that have scripts. Here's the Monday circle prospect follow-up on how to follow up with customers on a Monday. There are, here's all the creating materials step by step on how to do everything.
She said it was on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I was looking, I couldn't find.
What?
The playbook is on the Facebook page.
Yes.
Can you go to Facebook? But you guys, this whole command thing, it really is command for dummies, step by step. It gives you pictures, do this, do this, do this. You know, just practice a couple times because I don't like new things. But I think this is gonna be okay. So, so Sarah said she put it on the Facebook page, KW Facebook page, and she pinned it. And there's 4 or 5 new playbooks that are there.
Here, so Keller Williams Florida Partners, I'm gonna log into this one now. Usually up here, a lot of times it'll be under files or media. Or let's just see if she's pinned it at the top.
She said she did. Let's see.
All right. So there's always, when you go into a group, you can.
It's there.
Huh?
You see it?
Files.
So under files, there's social media playbook. That's just the social media one though.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think we uploaded the other one.
That's not the one.
What if you go back to the regular and just look for Sarah?
That's just the social media playbook.
Can you?
When I search in the featured,
That's generally where you come thing.
that's the social media one.
She says if you click it, the rest are in there.
Okay, so there it is. So go under featured at the top next to discussion. And you click on this one link here, the Google Drive.
And she said there's.
This is going to bring you into, this should be all of them here.
Where was this, John?
Yeah.
They are linked.
Where?
Yeah.
All right, so go back. So in the Keller Williams Realty Florida Partners. Next to discussion, click on featured. It's going to be right here. Just click on this link to the Google Drive. And the Google Drive has all the playbooks in there.
Okay, nice.
We are going to take one a month and dissect one a month, like just like this. So I do have, I'll tell you what, mortgage hacks playbook. I just said, you know, I'm not in lending. I don't care about that. Me and Lance went through that mortgage hacks playbook. Oh my God. It teaches you how to reach out to current homeowners on ways you can save monthly fees off their mortgages by canceling PMI, by asking to have your escrow released and you pay your own taxes and insurance.
Pay twice a month.
Pay twice a month. So, like, there are so many things that give you touch points to touch your database. That has nothing to do with a mortgage for a buyer. It has to do with how you're going to provide value to a seller. Actually,
Oh, I was just gonna ask. If you can invite me to Facebook.
absolutely. So, we good?
Good, yeah.
Questions?
Yay, thank you so much.
Just gonna look and see, where is it? Oh, it's next to feature.
It is features.
Oh, it is feature. Oh,
That right there.
And just click on that little.
oh, right on. Cool. What a great class.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
Very
good.
good.
We make a good team.
Yes,
Oh.
awesome. All right, I'm gonna cut the recording off. Thank you so much, guys. Anybody have any other questions online?
Bye,
I didn't
Lynn.
answer.
They were.
Bye, Lynn.
Very
Thank you.
good.
Thank you.
Good
question.
Yeah, good.